So I want to record this video a bit off the cuff and just talk about something that I think is really important. A lot of us tend to struggle at the beginning of our career. This is such a common thing that we're all running into. And the thing is that a lot of us are very kind of clueless as to why that's happening. And I'm just going to be honest, it's you. It's always going to be you. If some people are getting results and others aren't, it's because certain people are doing certain things and others are not doing those things. When it comes to our reel, when it comes to having no experience in the beginning, I think it's really critical for us to think about, well, what else can we do? How can we get that first win? Because in the beginning, it's about getting our foot in the door no matter what it takes. It isn't about going and cutting our first reel, sending it off in this linear path. It's about doing whatever it takes, hustling, entering through the side door, rather than sending in your reel with that expectation that they need to hire you because you showed up. One of the things that's very taboo is working for free. So one of the biggest concerns that we have working on high-profile projects, especially under NDA or Hollywood films, is that we deal with a lot of sensitive information and data, passwords and files that would be a nightmare if they got leaked. Now add in how often passwords get hacked and leaked in this day and age, it's scary to think what would happen if someone got access to all of your passwords, logins, and sensitive data. That's why I recently partnered with Dashlane, who are one of the leading software solutions for keeping all of your passwords, your files, and sensitive data secure and encrypted, safe from threats over the internet. It took me 30 seconds to get up and running with Dashlane, and I was able to store all of my sensitive information and thousands of passwords all in one place. The best part is that your passwords are encrypted so only you can access them. So in the unlikely event that even Dashlane got hacked, there's no way that anyone could access your information because it's encrypted. That's the cool thing, is that Dashlane's all about convenience. It's one-click logins and never having to remember your credit card info or anything. It's automatically filled out for you with one click, while your passwords, your credit card info, and all of your account information always remains safe and secure and encrypted on your end. One of the other great features that I love about Dashlane is that it comes with a built-in VPN. So, what's a VPN? This basically allows you to keep your internet address secure and private and stay anonymous online, which I think in 2020 is pretty critical for all of us. But it also means that when I'm traveling, I can still stay logged into my Netflix and all my other streaming accounts that otherwise might be blocked while I'm international. So I could continue to browse the web safely and secure and keep all my passwords, my information all safe, but also be able to access everything through the VPN, allowing me to be anywhere in the world, but still access everything as if I was still physically back home. So get Dashlane for free right now on your first device by clicking the link below this video, and you'll also automatically get a 30-day free trial of Dashlane Premium, no credit card required to sign up. So you can get Dashlane right now for free for your first device by clicking the link below, and you'll also automatically get a 30-day free trial of Dashlane Premium, no credit card required to sign up. So sign up below and keep your information safe and secure right now. One of the things that's very taboo is working for free. And I don't think it's worthwhile going to work at a big studio where they're going to take full advantage of you and pay you nothing. But at the same time, you got to realize that there's a lot more to negotiate out there than just money. And if money is the factor for the other party, then that means that you can leverage that to get a lot more from it. So I think this is something really critical to think about, and I'm hoping that this concept is going to change your life. And here's one thing I'm just going to mention up front. I've worked for free plenty of times in my career, and I'm not talking about in the beginning trying to get my first job. I'm saying making now $500,000 a year doing freelance work, I'll still go and take on free jobs because I'm more focused on the relationship. I'm more focused on the big picture. I'm not worried about the $5,000 or the $10,000 I might get. I'm more thinking about the six-figure numbers that I might get from that project by thinking big, by not worrying about the smaller stuff, not trading dollars for time. So when it comes to the beginning of your career, where would you like to be? Would you like to be sending in your reels, frustrated that you're not getting any work? And then you're at a point where, let's say an opportunity comes up where perhaps you could work with a director or someone that's really cool opportunity. And then what happens is that leads to another thing. Well, that person after that job ends up offering you a full-time position, whatever it might be. You can negotiate that too, that, hey, I'll do this for free, but if it works out, I want to come on staff and work with your company. whatever it might be. Let's say that you did take on that free job and that thing led to the next thing and that ended up starting your career, and 5 years, 10 years later, you look back at all the success you had all because of that. Whereas the other version of you in this sliding doors moment, I've never seen that film and don't intend to, but in that sliding doors moment, instead, what happened is that you decide, I'm not working for free, I need a paid gig. And 2 years later, you give up on the industry altogether. Or 2 or 3 years later, you're still sitting in the same reels, frustrated why no one's hiring you. What are you going to look back at that I shouldn't have taken that free job? Or are you going to look back like, man, if I hadn't taken that, like where would I be right now? Instead, I took a chance, I took an opportunity because I had nothing else going on anyway, and that led to all these greater opportunities. I've worked with people for free even now because I knew that the relationship, perhaps getting to know them, being close to them, or the network that they're with would be worth it long term. And even as I think about this now, I'm actually doing a free job. I'm working with some YouTube guys on a short film because I thought it was really cool, and I'm like, you know what, maybe this would be really good. Maybe I can leverage their audience, or we can do something cool together. But I'm always open to the opportunity rather than expecting that I've got to get X amount of money because that's what I'm worth. I'm more thinking about, well, the other benefits are probably going to outweigh any money that I'll be able to get up front. Just recently I did a Marvel project and I did get paid for that job, but the money wasn't the thing that I was really focused on. I was focused more on the relationship with that studio. I was more focused on what benefits it would have for them, knowing that it would land them future work and more confidence with Marvel. So in a way, I wanted that studio to do better, and I wanted to help them along the way by doing that. And I knew that with them getting better, it would give me opportunities as well. But there's been plenty of jobs where someone comes along and says, hey, Allan, we're this studio. We want to use your reel to get work. And if we get that job, then we promise that we'll hire you for the job. And that's when I say, no, thank you. So it really comes down to picking and choosing what you think you can leverage rather than saying yes to everything. But at the same time, saying no to things that could be worth it just because the money isn't right doesn't mean it's a good decision. Richard Branson always says, say yes to everything, and that's the true path to success. And the thing is, if you got nothing else going on, get that experience, build that network. Truth is, the first big industry job I ever landed, the one that I look back on that changed my whole life, I got that because a friend recommended me. But the thing is, it was that relationship that got me in the door. In other words, the relationship is typically what got it all started in the first place. So if you have nothing else going on, give yourself these opportunities. The key thing is that if you're going in, know your worth. If you're going to work for free, and working for free is a much bigger conversation I'll have another time, but I want to really get in on this because I think that a lot of people have the wrong mindset about it. We're so allergic to the whole concept of working for free that we're like, I don't work for free, instead of realizing where there's times someone's taking advantage of you, or where there's times where it's actually a good opportunity that you can make more beneficial to you than it is even for them. So a good way to look at this is that if someone comes to you and says, hey, we want to hire you, but we don't have much money right now, we can only pay you X, or unfortunately this isn't a paid gig, that's fine. For you, maybe if your money is fine, if you're not worried about money right now, that's cool. You can actually go in and say, well, look, I understand that the budget isn't quite there. Thing is that for me to do this job, I've got to turn down other paid gigs. So I need to make this worth my while in other ways. So I understand if you can't afford to pay me what I typically charge, which would be $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $200 an hour, whatever your rate might be. I don't think that, just because you can't afford to pay me this rate that I typically charge. However, on this project, to make it worth my while, what I would like is some on-set experience. I'd like to shadow the supervisor for a couple of days each week so that way I can learn the ropes and get some experience from them. I'd also love to get a credit in the film if you've only got an allotted 20 credits or whatever. The thing is, you can start talking to them about other things that to them don't really cost them any money. For them, if money is the concern, then this actually is something that you can leverage. So one of the key things about negotiating for me is I always want to know what the pain point is for them. If they say that we need this done right away, and this isn't talking about working for free, I'm saying that if I go into a project and they tell me that they're really concerned about getting the project delivered in the next 5 days, then I know that time is their pain point, and therefore money probably isn't. So I can say, okay, I can do it in 5 days, but it's going to cost you $10,000. And they'll probably say, okay, because you're removing this pain point from them. But if they come to you and say that money is tight, that they're concerned about the budget and going over budget, then maybe this is something that you can say, well, look, to match the money that you're offering me, I can only do 3 days a week. Would that work for you? And in that way, they're able to work on it with a more relaxed schedule. There's plenty of different ways to work around things, but once you know what their pain point is, then you can say, well, give me this instead. I knew someone who went onto a movie, and once the project was done, they had bought all these supercomputers that they were using for this hero shot on the film. So he said, okay, once the project's done, I want those computers. And because they had no more use for them, they're like, okay, that's fine. He got $10,000, it's more than that, it was like $20,000 of computers for nothing, because he negotiated that as part of him working on the project. Everything is up for grabs. Everything is negotiable. It's just a matter of you being creative in figuring out what that is. Now, when it comes to where you are at the beginning of your career, it's important to think about this, to think about what is actually holding you back. Because a lot of the times we're so in the trenches, we're so invested in ourselves that we're firing out reels and we're not getting our traction, but that's all we're doing. And the problem is, we look at everybody else, that's all they're doing as well. And because of that, you're never going to stand out. You're never going to get the win because you're playing the lottery. There's 1,000 other people doing exactly what you're doing, so your reel has to be better than everyone else's. You got to have more experience than everyone else, and you got to make sure that you're the most memorable person that stands out more than everyone else. Now, I don't say that to freak everyone out, thinking that they're not going to make anything of themselves and they're never going to get their big break. It's about doing the opposite of everyone else, figuring out the side door. In other words, while everyone's sending in a reel, why don't you go in and get to network with these people? If they know who you are, you're going to get the gig. One of my friends went to work with J.J. Abrams, and a week later he got laid off. And I'm like, dude, what happened? He's like, oh, well, they hired one of his buddies instead. And it's like, well, of course, like if one of your friends wants the job, you're probably going to give it to them because you know them. It's not just because they're your buddy, but you know what their capabilities are. It's less of a gamble. Hiring is guessing, firing is knowing. So this is just something to think about, is to figure out where you're at, what your obstacles are, and then figure out the ways to work around that. Now, this means that getting your first job is everything. Getting your foot in the door is the momentum. It's the kickoff. It's going to allow you to keep moving forward. Because right now, if you're standing still, you don't have any momentum. So it's more about figuring out what your obstacles are and figuring out what the next steps are going to be to get around that. And sometimes it is about going and offering services to people. Now, this doesn't mean like, hey, how are you? I want to work for your studio. I'll work for free because I'll do whatever it takes to get in. For me, that's a red flag. I don't want to hire someone who's working for free because they can offer me free services. That's not going to necessarily be a plus to me, because I'm more concerned about, well, how much experience they have. Are they going to be asking a lot of questions and taking up my time? Because the problem with people who are very junior isn't that they might be cheap, so therefore they don't cost that much. I'm more afraid that they're going to be taking up time of really expensive people. If you have employees that all charge about $1,000 a day, and they're taking up all of their time, all the time, the supervisor and everyone else, that gets very expensive very quickly. So free or cheap doesn't necessarily mean an attractive thing to me. But the flip side is that what if they come in and they say, hey, I'm applying for a roto job and I wanted to showcase what I can do. So I actually went and did some roto on a few of the projects you had previously done. I went and traced over it all and created roto shapes to show what I can do specifically for your studio. Or, hey, I'd love to apply at your studio. If you want, I'm happy to sign an NDA and fire out some shots for me. I'll do them for free to show what I can do for you. And if you like what I can do, then, let's chat further from there. Whatever it might be. But this way, you're actually removing the gamble out of it all. In other words, hiring isn't so much a gamble anymore, or isn't guessing anymore. It's more about knowing that this person can fulfill that need or that job. So sometimes it is about front loading the work. In fact, like I said, I still do this today. It doesn't matter where I am in my career. The jobs I might be talking about might have a couple of extra zeros on the end of them, but I'm willing to look at the big picture. I'm willing to negotiate and aim for bigger projects rather than specifically saying, well, I don't work for free. At the same time, if someone said, hey, Allan, we want to work with you, can you work for free? I'm not going to do that, but I am going to look at approaching certain people, not worrying about getting a transaction for a certain thing, but I'm more thinking about the bigger picture. So hopefully this makes sense. I'm throwing this more out there as a concept for you because it's something that I feel a lot of us are still stuck at the starting point. And I want us to start getting those wins by realizing that we got to think differently, that sending in your reel is not enough. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, that's not enough. That working for free is a bad thing when you've got nothing else going on. Just figure out a way to make it more leverageable for you and more beneficial to you. In other words, I was talking with someone the other day how I get on LinkedIn, so many studios in India hit me up saying, we're this studio in India, we're really affordable, we do roto services, we'd love to work with you. That's it. And occasionally I get kind of mean and I say, well, is that your whole pitch? Like, do you not know that I get the exact same email from everyone else? And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because I'm hoping occasionally someone might actually think like, yeah, I never really thought about everyone else, or I never really thought about the people I'm emailing, what else they might get that's similar to this. In other words, how do I stand out from the rest of the other people? And I want you to do that too, to think about empathy, about maybe you got to put yourself in the other people's shoes to figure out what they're experiencing and how to go against the grain, figure out what you can do to stand out. So this is the critical thing here to think about. If one of these places was actually come to me and say, you know what, we'd love to work with you. We've seen all the work you're doing. We noticed you do a lot of robots and sci-fi stuff. So if you're interested, we'd love to model some assets for you within budget to showcase what we can do, and we'll offer price points and show how much we would typically have charged for it. So this way it's win-win for you. We're happy to sign an NDA, stuff like that, just to show what we can do for you or whatever. This way you're actually investing in them. You're building a relationship with them rather than saying, hi, we're here, we showed up, that's all we're offering is that we did what everyone else did. Because that's not going to make an impact on me. It's not going to make them stand out from everyone else. So you can go poor and shut down your studio because of that, or you can think big picture and think, well, okay, what can I do differently to everybody else? I just got back from shooting a visual effects sequence in Los Angeles, California. The intention of this film shoot was to get your input on what you want to see happen in the sequence. Next week, I'm going to create a set of videos taking an entire visual effects shot from start to finish, all entirely based around what you tell me to create. In other words, I need your input. I want you to submit your ideas of what you want to see happen in this shot of LA. Do you want to see buildings explode, alien ships attack, tsunamis hit the buildings? So that's my goal with this training. Teach you the absolute necessary requirements you need to land a job in visual effects. So check out the link in the description, go there and submit your idea of what you want to see happen. In a few days, once all of us have submitted our ideas, we'll vote on the best ideas, and early next week, I'll announce the winning topic that you voted for. Check out the link below and let's get started.